Hey there friends, and welcome to day 2 of the September 2021 Cat Scrappiness fall release. So excited to be sharing with these products and projects with you today. We've got a total of 6. One's a repeat of yesterday's video, but I thought I would include it because I didn't realize that they were two separate, going to be separated by release. So that is the snail mail envelope. I'm going to show you that again. Putting that together. But first up, we have our Thanksgiving costumes add-on stamp set, and that coordinates with our Dress Up Quokkas stamp set. So here I'm just showing you all the little things you get in that Thanksgiving costume add-on set, which is pumpkins, cornucopias, little Indians, little pilgrims, and we're going to dress one of the little Indians today. I do ink up both of the Indian outfits and the headdress, but I'm only going to die cut and show you one of them because I only use one of them on my card project today. So I've gone through and stamped those up. I used some amalgam ink and colored them in with some alcohol markers. And for the Quokkas, I just cheat and use some tan cardstock. And then I'm adding the little headdress on to our little Indian girl. And isn't she so cute? And so we're going to set her off for the moment. Now I'm going to create a background in just a second, but next up we have our Happy Thanksgiving die with shadow, word die with shadow. So here I've got the shadow cut out in some dark chocolate cardstock, and the Happy Thanksgiving is cut out in some rose gold metallic cardstock. So here I'm going to take the pumpkins, the cornucopia, the acorn, and the leaves, and I'm going to stamp them with some amalgam ink in truffle and stamp those up all over our 3 3/8 panel by 5 7/8. We're going to make a mini slimline card, and I just wanted an 1/8 of an inch border, so that's why I made my card panel the measurements that it is. And so here I'm just adding in those little bits and pieces, the acorns, the pumpkins, and once I get most of this covered with this Misty, I will put the leaves and the acorns on a little acrylic block and then go through and stamp. Here's our pattern paper all done. I've colored it off camera, and here I've got our Happy Thanksgiving word die that we are going to adhere to the front of our panel. Little liquid glue, and then I'm just going to gently put that down because I'm not sure where I want to put our little Indian girl, but I do end up putting her over to the right. Now I do want to let you know the Thanksgiving costume add-on dies has digital cut files available with the stamp set, so be sure and grab those. Physical dies will be in the shop mid-September. So if you're interested in having physical dies, otherwise you can get digital cut files. So next up we have our Happy Holidays word die with shadow, one of my faves, and I've die cut that out, the shadow out of some vellum, and then the Happy Holidays out of some white glitter cardstock. And I just ink blended a little blue and a little black soot on a card panel. This was screaming snowflake, so I just grabbed a snowflake that I had in my stash and cut 2 of them out and adhered them to the front of the panel because I really wanted just more so the Happy Holidays to stand out. Off camera I did use, so in the photos you'll see some white rhinestones. I used the new white rhinestone mix that is available at Cat Scrappiness as well. So here just trimming up those snowflakes to have the panel even. This panel measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so a 2 size card. And here again is our Happy Holidays word die with shadow. I just love how that turned out. Super simple holiday card. Next up we have Happy Fall. And so again, you get your shadow, word die with shadow. Happy and fall are 2 separate words. Your F is also separate, so be sure not lose that. And here I just took the Crafter's Essential Halloween die set. There's a tree, if you didn't catch the video yesterday of the release or the blog post, there's a tree that comes in it, and that's that tree right there. And I die cut that out of some chocolate cardstock 2 times to give it a little heft. And I'm taking some sponge daubers and some VersaFine Clear inks in Golden Meadow, Chianti, and Summertime, and dabbing off most of the excess of that from the dauber onto a paper towel, because I want to just give a hint. You know, it's like watercolor. We're just giving a hint of imagination, of fall foliage. My favorite time of the year. I grew up in upstate New York, so the fall is absolutely stunning in upstate New York if you've never been. So here, a little Chianti to add in our purple hue for the leaves, and now I'm going to adhere our little tree into the center of that, and then I will take the Happy Fall word die. I'm not going to use the shadow this time, just the word die, and layered that twice in chocolate cardstock, and I will line that the first P up with the tree trunk, and then, you know, adhere that down onto the panel, and then I will put the word fall directly underneath it. And I like how the width of the tree matched perfectly with that line in the P. And here I'm just kind of straightening it out because it was curving a little bit as I was adhering it down. So adding on our F, and then we will do the ALL, and then I will adhere this to a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So this panel measures 4 by 5 1/4. So I've mounted that on a piece of chocolate cardstock, which measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So another A2 size card. And I just thought that was cute, just something a little different. One of the things I love about word dies is the versatility of them, that you could do backgrounds like this and have a really impactful, simple card. Next up, we have our Christmas Wishes die with shadow. And so I cut the shadow out of some red cardstock, and then I cut Christmas Wishes out of some silver cardstock, and here it is all put together and adhered down. And I just love silver and red at Christmas. It's one of my favorites. We have the Ugly Sweater add-on stamp set, and I'm going to show you these two stamp sets first. So the Christmas costume add-on and the Ugly Sweater add-on, because that's what I used. I used all the little pieces of those two stamps to create this background, just like I did with the Thanksgiving one, but this one's a Christmas one. Again, the Christmas costume add-on set comes with a digital cut file. Physical dies will be available mid-September. The Ugly Sweater has coordinating dies. I'm going to show you that here after I get done with this card. So little bits and pieces, I'm taking the presents, the elf hats, the stockings, the candy canes, the mistletoe from the Christmas costume add-on, and I'm adding that on to another 3 3/8 panel by 5 7/8 panel, another mini slimline card. And then from the Ugly Sweater add-on, I take the mistletoe, or I take the holly, the bells, and the snowflakes, and I use those as like little tiny filler ends on the backs of this to create the back of this panel. So I'm going to get everything laid out and then stamp it up with some Gina K amalgam ink, and I will color it off camera because it's a lot of little bits and pieces to color. And then I take the little snowflake, there's a little snowflake cluster in the Ugly Sweater add-on that I stamp in the amalgam obsidian ink and also VersaFine Clear Twilight. So here I'm just showing you where I go through and I take the little stamps and I start inking them up, and here I'm doing the snowflake first in the obsidian black, and then off camera I needed a little bit more punch of color, and that's when I came in with doing the snowflakes with the VersaFine Clear and Twilight. Everything's all colored up. We're going to adhere our panel to our 6x7 card base scored at 3.5 inches, a little liquid glue, and that's going to put our panel down onto our card base. And then I will take our Christmas Wishes. I'm just going to start with the shadow first. and adhere that down to the kind of at an angle on the panel. And then take our silver die cut, our glitter cardstock for Christmas wishes, and adhere that into that shadow. And this is one of my favorites that I created. It just really pops off the front of the card, that sentiment. And again, what's nice about these little stamps that come within these bigger kits, there's so many other things that you can do. If you're not into, dressing up your Quokkas and things like that, there's other things that you can use the smaller aspects of these stamps in to be able to create some pretty fun Christmas cards. So Christmas wishes, this is our word die and shadow. So here is the ugly sweater add-on with your coordinating die. And again, it coordinates with your dress up Quokka stamp set. So you get a sweater for each of your Quokkas, and then you get all kinds of little fun things. You get candy canes and Christmas trees, penguins, presents, gingerbread men, a Christmas tree, a snowman, Rudolph, and a little polar bear, and a couple different smaller ornaments, a poinsettia and a bow, a bigger bow. So here I'm inking up my Quokkas, and I cheat, you know what I mean? If I'm going to be dressing them up, I don't need to get fancy with my coloring of my Quokkas. So I just take a tan or craft cardstock and ink those up, usually in the fallen leaves or the amalgam truffle ink, to get that brown outline, and it just gives a different contrast than black. And so now I'm inking up my sweaters, and then I will realign that cardstock and put in, I'm going to do the Christmas tree and I'm going to do the snowman face, and we'll ink those up in the obsidian ink, and then I will color those quickly on camera here. I mean, I didn't color all of it. In fact, I kept the sweaters white because I thought that the images would stand out just a little bit more by doing that. And so the Christmas tree I'm coloring in just, I think, one green. I didn't get fancy with it. It's nice with alcohol markers. You don't have to have so much detail if you don't want to. These smaller images, you don't need to have all the shadowing and all that stuff. Okay, so here I've got my little die cuts, and I'm going to die cut our sweaters out, and then we're going to put them on our little Quokkas. And how cute is that? Our little ugly sweater Quokkas. I think they're just so cute, and I actually think the sweaters are pretty cute. I don't think they're all that ugly. So here's our little lady, and our little gentleman is going to have the snowman face, and our little lady has the Christmas tree. And I just think those are the most adorable things I've ever seen. So here we are with our ugly sweater with coordinating die Quokka stamp set. Next up, we have the Christmas costume add-on. So I showed you earlier this because I use the smaller pieces to create a background. So first I want to, I'm going to just ink up and die cut the Santa Claus. So here I'm doing the Santa Claus costume, and I'm going to color that with just a red and a black. I kept the white based on the cardstock because nothing is crisper than white. For the, his beard and the trimmings on his hat, I didn't need to get fancy with it. I did use a darker red for his suit and his hat because I just think that I like more plush, deeper red Santa suits. So almost done with his little Santa suit, and then I'm going to add in his black belt, and that is going to finish up our little Santa. I will die cut him out. And I have one of our dress up Quokkas pre-stamped and die cut. So here I'm coming in with the belt. And I was going to do like a yellow for his buckle, but I completely forgot about it. Not a big deal. So here's our little Quokka Santa, all die cut and ready to go. And here I'm just adding some liquid glue, and we are going to adhere our little Santa costume on. Again, the Christmas costume add-on comes with a digital cut file. So you do not need physical dies if you don't want to purchase them, but there will be some available mid-September. Next up, we have our Merry Christmakah. I have a hard time saying that. In my mind, I'm saying it right, but then when I say it, it sounds weird. So I'm going to use that Christmas costume add-on, the Christmas tree. I just wanted the Christmas tree. I wanted something simple to have the word die stand out a little bit more. So coloring this Christmas tree up with some green markers. I cut out a gold star from one of the other die sets, the rainbow die sets that has a thing of stars, and I was able to fit that right in. And then but the Merry Christmakah is together, so I went and separated those, and here I've die cut the word out again twice with some white cardstock just to give it a little bit of heft and dimension. And I'm going to adhere our Christmas tree down to our panel, and then I'm going to add in our little rhinestones. So I picked emerald green, turquoise, silver, and those are in the rhinestones. And then I did the pearl, some red rose pearl gems. Aren't they so pretty? That's like the perfect Christmas lights. They sparkle and shine. Okay, so here I'm adding in our Merry die cut and then the Christmakah. Now I wanted it to be arched, so having a couple layers gives it that bulk so that it's not super flimsy, but it flexes, you know, exactly how I needed it to. And adhering it to our Lumberyard paper pack. That's where that wood grain paper is from, the Cat Scrappiness Lumberyard paper pack, and that is our Merry Christmakah word die. Next up, and last but certainly not least, and I showed this yesterday, but this is our Snail Mail Mini Slimline envelope. I wanted to show it again. I goofed and added them both in the same video yesterday, so I thought I would show this again just to keep everything in order that you're going to be seeing with the product that's being released each day. So here's all of the elements that you get with your Snail Mail envelope die set. You get the Snail Mail die cut, word die cut, 2 separate words. You get this cool frame that cuts out a nice stitched border frame, and then the inner part is great if you do hand lettering or anything like that, and you do it separately to be able to add that onto the outside of your envelope. That's perfect. These are little I'm going to call them like die stickers that you can cut out and create your own envelope seals. Okay, and there's different elements to them, so you know there's obviously bits that pop out and things like that, so you can use them in different ways on your card, but I would use them to seal my envelope. Then I'm not worrying about having a huge big strip of double-sided tape. I've just got a little bit to be able to seal them. And here I'm showing you how easy these envelopes get put together. So I do recommend double-sided adhesive. This is 1/4 inch. Liquid glue, you know what I mean? If you use too much of it, you're going to end up sealing parts of your envelope that you don't want to. So I definitely recommend double-sided adhesive. And so here I'm just butting the 2 ends up together and, you know, adhering that flap that's scored to connect the 2 pieces. And here on the side flaps, they're a little bit more narrow, so I'm using 1/8 inch score tape, which is the perfect size. And then I'll take that release paper off, and we will be able to close up our envelope, and we have a perfect mini slimline envelope. I love it. I'm going to show you here in a second that your mini slimline cards, the 6x7s, and there's a little bit extra room, fit perfectly, so you don't have to worry that, you know, your normal A2 size or your normal mini slimline cards are not going to fit. So here I'm just adding that frame and then the inside panel, and then I'm going to adhere on our Snail Mail and that is going to, oh, I'm going to do a seal. So here I add on that seal, and I'm deciding which one I want to use. I'm showing you also that you can, kind of tuck them, so you don't have to adhere them onto the flap of the envelope. You have a lot of different options with these. Now, this is kind of matchy-matchy, so the little heart that comes inside, I just reverse it because it's a darker green, and then I'm able to inlay that in, and you have a little dark green heart, that gives you a little bit of contrast on the back side of your seal. And here I'm showing you the 2 mini Slimline cards fit with plenty of room, and I love it. This is my favorite envelope that's been released, honestly. I love the flap. I love the way this particular envelope is. So excited for these. And that's going to wrap it up, my friends. Here's all the projects that we've created. I forgot my Santa in there, but we've got Happy Fall, we got our Ugly Sweater Quokkas, we've got our Happy Holidays, Merry Christmakah, and Christmas Wishes. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next video.